He's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested," or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, are you straight?" He's like, "No, I'm not straight." He's like, "Oh, you have a boyfriend?" "No, I don't have a boyfriend." He's like, "I'm just not into you at all, like not even remotely." And so the guy's like, "Oh, I have no problem with that. I'll see you later. Bye." And he goes into his apartment and closes the door and he breaks down crying like hysterically. The guy doesn't, he's not interested in me. He hates me. He's just not attracted to me, and just goes on and on. And then he finds out that the guy followed him on Instagram and he's okay. But it was just a funny little commentary on how a lot of gay guys are about our self-esteem is a lot of times wrapped up in what other gay men think of us, in this particular case, if they're sexually attracted to us or not, and whether that makes our attractiveness, validates our attractiveness or not. And I think, unfortunately, it's true. I mean, a lot of gay guys are like that. And I know when I was younger, in my 20s or whatever, and certainly didn't have as much of a confidence as I do now, which comes, I think, with age. If you're fortunate enough to grow and evolve as a human being, when I was younger, I certainly didn't have as much self confidence in myself, and I was certainly one of these people who, when a guy didn't like me, I was like, well, I'm hideous, I'm ugly, I'm disgusting, I'm not, I just was so hard on myself and was so completely self critical. And it wasn't until I got older and began to actually love myself for real that it didn't really impact me in the same manner. And everybody wants to be, loved or liked or be attractive or whatever. But this is just a ridiculous extent, I think. And unfortunately, guys sometimes are not so nice about it. I mean, I think it's wrong, like when gay guys are leading you on and they're acting like they're interested when they're really not because they don't want to hurt your feelings, or they're not letting you know they're not interested. When instead of just coming out and saying, like this guy did in the video, that I'm not interested in you. Of course, he could have said it in a more nicer fashion. But I think that it's nicer and it's kinder to be honest and direct and not lead someone on than it is to lead someone on and give them hope that somehow you could actually end up dating them someday. They just haven't discovered the love and the virtue of your heart or whatever, which is bullshit. So someone either likes you or they don't. So if they don't like you, just move on. There'll be people who do. And no one is liked by everybody. Everyone is not liked by everyone. So you can't find one person in this entire universe or this world whom is universally found to be hot. And I know that sounds crazy because there's some hot men out there, especially celebrities like, for example, Matt Bomer, who I think is drop dead gorgeous, whom other guys I've known, no, not so much. He's too skinny, or he's, not that hot or whatever. Or, it just depends on, my point is there's so many different examples of this. And so I think it's really just subjective. It is subjective. Attractiveness is subjective. What one person finds to be hot, someone else could find to be abhorrent. What one person finds to be disgusting and revolting, someone else could find to be incredibly sexy or something. And that's just the truth. That's the way it is. So there's always somebody out there for you if you just keep looking. Then, and the Ashley Madison scandal. If you don't know what Ashley Madison is the website where people can go if you are married or in a relationship, a monogamous relationship. And if you want to cheat on your spouse, you can go on there and find other people who are wanting to have an affair. And you can meet each other and have an affair. That's what it's for. Now, Ashley Madison also has a gay version of their site called Ashley Down Low or something like that. And so this whole leak lately that happened, there was a leak, if you didn't know, of hackers logged in or whatever and downloaded all of the database and the names in the database. And they leaked all of the names in the database to the public. And the media caught on to it, of course. And a lot of famous people were on there. And like one of the Duggars, those stupid Duggar people, and some other people, I can't remember the other ones that were on there that were caught because they were on this website. They had memberships on there and their names were on there and everything else. Now, just because you're a member doesn't mean you actually ever did anything, but it does mean you probably were thinking about it, obviously, if you didn't. So I think, but it also, as I said, they have a gay version, and so a lot of gay guys now are also in trouble. And I don't know, I think how I feel about this, I really don't think that being... that outing people for something like this is right, because first of all, we don't know what the situation is with their relationship. Some people are in sexless relationships. Some people are in relationships that are open and they're aware that they're having other kinds of, sex partners or whatever. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, somebody has a medical condition, and who the fuck knows what the reason is. And I'm not saying these are all, my point is you can't always just blame the cheater. Sometimes it's the other person as well, and sometimes it's both. So you can't really say just because they're on this site that they're a horrible person. So I think that it's kind of wrong. Even the people that got outed, the Duggars, I can't stand the Duggar dudes. The Duggar guy, I can't stand him at all. But I don't think it's right to say he's a horrible person because he was on there, especially if he was married to some frigid bitch or something. I don't know. Anyway, I guess I'm just more open-minded about this stuff than most people. I have a very Dan Savage kind of outlook on sex, and most people have a much more puritanical view. If you don't know who Dan Savage is, by the way, he is he has a podcast, and he's awesome. And I've listened to him. I've actually been reading him since I was in high school, and he had a column in the Advocate. I think it was the Advocate or something, which I got when I was in high school. And I've been reading him ever since then. He's a great advice columnist. But anyway, he gives advice on sex mostly and things like that on his radio podcast show. So if you haven't checked him out, check him out, because a lot of things he says, I certainly agree with. And this is one of them. Last thing is I want to tell you, by the way, Jason Dotley, he actually has if you know who Jason Dotley is, he was on Sordid Lives, and the original Sordid Lives movie. And I think he was on the actual show as well. And he actually was married to Del Shores, or was with him for a long time. They're since separated, no longer together, and kind of an acrimonious split a while back. And actually, I did an interview with him a couple years ago on the cruise show that I was part of. If you want to go there and listen to that, I think it's on the Off Limits Show webpage. I'm not sure. If it's not, I'll post it. But if you want to find out more about him, you can go to jasondotley.com. But he has been, since acting, has been doing a lot of stand-up and kind of just in videos and singing. He's a huge Madonna fan like I am. So I wanted to give him props and let you know that just this past weekend he was here in Dallas at the Village Station. I was going to tell you last week, but I forgot. Not the Village Station. That's how old I am. Station 4. It used to be called Village Station in the 90s. Station 4 in the Rose Room. He was doing his show, his little stand-up thing, which is called Life on the D-List. Excuse me, Life on the Gay List, pun on the D-List thing that Kathy Griffin did. And he's also doing shows around the country. So if you want to check him out, you can. He's fun to watch and good and pretty. So enjoy. That's all I have to say for today's show. I just wanted to chime in on a few things on today's show. I'll be back Sunday with another show, talking about whatever the fuck we're talking about. And be sure to check me and Jason and Christian out on our show, GayXYZ, which you can find at gayxyz.com, gayxyzshow.com, excuse me. And God, no, it's gayxyz.com. I can never remember. gayxyz.com. And you can go there and listen to the shows in the archives. Our show from last week, we discussed gays having children. And this week, I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm sure it'll be fun. But it's a fun show, and we get to kind of gab like a bunch of bitches. So be sure to check us out. And also, you can follow Gay XYZ on Twitter at Gay XYZ Show. That's what's called Gay XYZ Show on Twitter. And then also on Facebook and on Spreaker. And, of course, on the website, gayxyz.com. Also, follow me on offlimitshow.com. And also, by the way, if you're on Periscope, which I love, by the way, if you didn't know already, if you're on Periscope, be sure to follow me there, because I am on there as well and occasionally do broadcasts. But I always delete them, so you have to catch them live. So if you are a follower of me on Off Limits Show on the Periscope, then you'll definitely be able to see me there, okay? So thanks for listening. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night. Stay gay.